So today we're going to try something a little different. Again, I always like doing this because as your theocratic fascist dictator, one of my duties is to listen to the people and hear their problems and then judge them ruthlessly. Thankfully, Reddit's Am I the Asshole forum provides us plenty of fuel for this whole fire. Take a listen. Am I the asshole for kicking my husband out of the delivery room? I, 23 female, my husband, 24 male, just had our first baby. My husband was so excited and was super supportive and caring throughout the pregnancy. The only thing is that he became slightly obsessed with watching YouTube and TikTok videos of husbands pulling pranks on their wives while in labor. I just got an idea for a different series of YouTube videos we have to do now. I didn't mind at first, but then he started casually joking about doing things he saw in the videos, saying it would be funny. I clearly stated my distaste for them and asked him not to do anything like what he saw. He agreed and continued to joke about it from time to time, but I brushed it off since I trusted him and thought nothing would come of it. The day of the delivery came and I had been in labor for 8 hours. I had just finished another round of contractions when my husband let out the loudest fart, turned to me and said, "What the hell have you been eating? It smells disgusting." I immediately recognized that as one of the pranks in the videos. Outraged at him not honoring what I asked him not to do, I demanded that he leave the room. He started to argue, saying that it was just a joke, but I insisted, and luckily the nurse helped him get out. The nurse helped him leave. I went through the last 4 hours of labor by myself since my family lives out of state and I'm not close to my mother-in-law. After the delivery, I told the nurse he could come back into the room and he was fuming. He started demanding that I tell him why I kicked him out. I calmly told him the reason, but he was pissed. He hasn't talked to me in a week. His mom is taking his side, saying that I was a complete bitch for kicking him out. Normally he will defend me from her, but this time he completely agreed. I might be the asshole because I know how much he was looking forward to being there for the birth of our first kid, and especially when he got to cut the cord, but I still kicked him out and I refused to let him back in. The nurse asked a few times if I wanted him back in, but each time I said no. So am I the asshole for kicking my husband out after a stupid prank that he agreed not to do? First of all, your husband is the a-hole purely because he spent weeks researching delivery room pranks. And that's the one he settles on?
No offense, but you are a stupid asshole.
After weeks of watching all these videos, which do sound really hilarious, and I want to check some of that myself, but that's what you end up doing? Just the best you could do after all that time and all that preparation? You had weeks, man. And the best you could do was fart and blame it on your wife? Leaving that aside, yeah, he's the a-hole. Because look, fellas, you antagonize your wife while she's giving birth, and you get what you get.
Well, Daddy, how you feel?
I feel sorry for, you about as much as I feel sorry for somebody who gets eaten while wrestling a crocodile.
Oh no, look at that!
It's like these are choices you make in life and you live with the consequences. You knew what you were getting into. You knew the risks and you decided to do it anyway. And besides, third thing, he's also kind of the a-hole for being upset about being kicked out of the delivery room. I've been through this 4 times. I would have loved to get kicked out. Who wants to be in the delivery room anyway? I know I'm one of the only guys who will say this out loud, but I tell you right now, I'm not the only guy who feels this way. That I don't it's kind of gross. And I don't feel a great need to be there.
I shouldn't have gone in there.
I wish we could go back to the days where men hung out. This is what they used to do back in the old days, okay? They had a smoking room in the hospital. And you would sit there while the woman does all the delivery stuff, and you would just sit there, you'd read a newspaper, and you'd smoke a cigar.
That's right. It's a baby.
And then when the baby's born, you'd go into the room, you'd say hello to the baby, and you'd leave, and you'd check back in about the time that they, graduate middle school. That's the way it should be, okay? All right, next one. Am I the asshole for wanting my son to get along with my boyfriend? Sean is my 13-year-old child, and I am a single mother. Connor, my current boyfriend, of course his name is Connor, and I have been together for 2 years. Sean has disliked Connor for as long as you can remember. He would go upstairs and ignore Connor whenever he came to my place. Even though I let Connor drop Sean off at school, Sean has never once expressed appreciation or bonded with Connor. Connor pretended to be unconcerned by his actions, but I could tell he was hurt by all of it. I asked him why he despised Connor so much. He gave a list of various reasons, some of which I seriously doubt. To begin with, he claims that when Connor dropped him off at school a couple of times, he made derogatory remarks about his Asian friends, calling him a little kung pao chicken, etc. It's not funny. Sean mentioned the time Connor didn't give his guinea pig water, and when he and I were at the beach a year ago, he was house sitting for 3 days. Sean also mentioned how Connor advised him to man up in a number of circumstances. I basically told him straight up that I don't believe anything he's saying. I confronted Connor after that, and he denied all of it. So because Sean lied, I took away his gaming consoles as punishment. I also lectured him about abusing Connor, who might be his new stepdad one day. Sean told his father, my ex, what had happened. Now my ex is cursing at me for being unfair towards my son. Am I the a-hole? Okay. Yeah, you're the a-hole. Look, I don't know your situation. I don't know why you aren't married to Sean's dad. But what I do know is that what Sean wants, what all kids want, is for their parents to live together in the same house and to have a real intact family. Like they're real parents, both of them. Like that's what Sean wants. That's what your kid wants.
And like, if you can't handle that, grow the hell up.
And if they can't have that for whatever reason, you can't blame them for being upset or for not being especially fond of the runner-up prize. Hey, Sean, your dad and I, you can't have a real dad, but here's Connor. Why don't you settle on that instead? And besides, he's just your boyfriend. So Sean doesn't know if this guy will be actually a permanent fixture in your life. Have you thought about that? Let me ask you, how many boyfriends have you had since the father of your child? I'm guessing more than one. So how many times has Sean been expected to develop a father-son relationship with the new guy in your life who just ends up out of the picture in a year or two anyway?
You might have your hands full once I pick up the controller.
Have you ever thought about the fact that there's this continual effect of abandonment that your son is going through? And so now he's putting up defenses against that because he's tired of being abandoned by one man after another? Whether it's the man's fault or yours or a combination, probably a combination. Have you thought about that? Well, that's it. Those judgments are absolutely final. And if you want to hear more of my judgmental tone and everything else that you get from this channel, then make sure that you hit like and you hit the notification bell and you subscribe, and you better do it right now.